I'm joined on a hosting panel tonight by David.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
And Charlie.
Hello, people. How is everybody tonight?
We're going to start off the show discussing CM Punk on the latest episode of Monday Night Raw. He was defeated in a gauntlet match by Dolph Ziggler with a little help from John Laurinaitis. Now, Dolph Ziggler is the #1 contender for the WWE Championship. He will face CM Punk in a match next week with the title on the line. That also happens to be the big January 2nd episode, the first episode of Monday Night Raw in 2012, where we'll get this big mystery guy that's going to be returning to WWE. But first, we're going to start off with Dolph Ziggler being the #1 contender for the WWE Championship.
I think it's great. I think that it's definitely cool for him to have the match on Raw, see how he can do up there in the ranks of the main eventers. Definitely was the guy that should have won the gauntlet match because, one, Mark Henry's on SmackDown, and two, Jack Swagger's terrible. So I really like the idea. John Laurinaitis getting involved was a little, I could have seen Ziggler beating Punk cleanly. That would have been nice, but overall, I'm really excited.
Well, with Jack Swagger, I got to agree. No one would have taken it seriously if he was the #1 contender. So I guess the next best thing was Dolph Ziggler. I think Dolph Ziggler is a really good wrestler. Problem is, well, you've already heard what I think about him. I think he looks a little generic, but his in-ring work is top-notch. One of the best wrestlers in the company. I love watching him wrestle. It's actually not boring.
Well, if I'm being completely honest, David, you said if Jack Swagger had won and become the #1 contender, nobody would have taken it seriously. I'm not taking Dolph Ziggler as a #1 contender seriously. Now, I have to point out that I don't even really have to point out because for people who've listened to the show these last couple of weeks, I've been one of Dolph Ziggler's biggest defender, not even one of, the #1 biggest defender of Dolph Ziggler on this panel. I think he's great. I think he's amazingly talented, and he is the future of WWE. The problem is that future next week, that's a little too close for me. I was thinking maybe, somewhere in 2012, Dolph Ziggler becoming a contender for the WWE Championship. But the thing is, you could just look at the last episode of Monday Night Raw and see how he ran around the ring with the championship after he beat CM Punk.
He looked like a moron.
Yeah, it seemed kind of Bush League. And for him to run around like that, I'm not really taking it seriously. I'm not saying that he's not a great in-ring talent because I do believe that they're going to tear down the house next week. They're going to have a really quality in-ring match, from that in-ring perspective. But my whole thing is I'm not taking this thing seriously because if you look at how he won, it was because of John Laurinaitis. And then once you look closer at John Laurinaitis, he is actually the person that CM Punk is really feuding with. Just look at these last couple of weeks in WWE. You look at people like The Miz, look at people like Alberto Del Rio. These are the two biggest heels on Monday Night Raw, and CM Punk just completely ran right through them. Now The Miz, he's in a feud with R-Truth. They picked that back up after R-Truth was suspended with The Miz attacking him like a month ago. So Miz is out of the picture. Alberto Del Rio, he's injured, so he's out of the picture now. And after you drop off from those two names, there's like a huge space in between, and the next person that you get is Dolph Ziggler. But I'm not taking him as an opponent to CM Punk seriously. And maybe that's partly Dolph Ziggler's fault, and then on the other hand, it has something to do with CM Punk also, because every opponent that he's had thus far, not taking him too seriously.
I mean, he's kind of like John Cena 2.0. A lot of people, I got some comments. I read the comments for the last video we uploaded on YouTube, the preview for PWTR, and a lot of people are pretty upset with what I have to say. But look, CM Punk is not much different from John Cena. He doesn't take his opponents very seriously. He's always making corny jokes about his opponents. It's like whenever somebody comes up to him, he's like, I don't have to worry about him. He's nothing compared to me. If you don't take your opponent seriously and you're not in jeopardy of losing your championship, then why should I care about it? Why should I want to buy the show? Thank God this Dolph Ziggler thing is for free because I wouldn't have bought it.
So he's the 4th Superman in company history.
Pretty much.
So we got Hulk Hogan, Triple H, John Cena, and now CM Punk.
Is that good company to be in? Because, I mean, by name alone, that's great. But the thing is, when you have that Superman connotation, it kind of takes like a negative meaning. So is that exactly a good thing for CM Punk to be called like Superman?
Not really. I mean, I'm not the type of person that complain, oh man, wrestling, this, that. But I'm getting sick of all these baby faces. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. I won. I don't really take you seriously, man. You're so boring and generic and one-dimensional. What the heck is that? You trying to play my intelligence? I know it's not real, but come on, man. Don't tell me stuff like that. Take him seriously. Dang, man. You think you're gonna beat me? What about Austin? I hate comparing to the Attitude Era, but these guys, Austin, Rock, they took their opponents seriously. Yeah, they made fun of them, but they took them seriously. Ruthless Aggression, John Cena took guys like Umaga seriously. Come on, guys. Hate when they do this kind of stuff. Play my intelligence. Wasting my money.
And it's like CM Punk, that's one of his specialties, because if you look at the way he handles his opponent, he does it very often. Like, that's one of the things that he's really known for, and a lot of people out there, they go crazy for it just because it's CM Punk, and they're just such huge fans of them. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to see a guy completely, especially if it's a face, completely just dominate and run through the roster. I want something that's compelling. I want somebody to tell a story. I want to feel like that this person is really a threat to your championship, a threat to your place in the company. And the way that CM Punk behaves with his opponents, I just don't get that. And I believe that a lot of people out there, David, we were having a discussion about this before the show. And what was it that you said about CM Punk?
What?
I'm forgetting what exactly you said, but it was
Vanilla Midget.
You've said that pretty frequently, but no, that wasn't it. But basically, my point is, I'm not compelled.
The fact that he should be making my coffee.
That's not it either. But basically, my point is that CM Punk, I'm not compelled by anything that he does. If I'm being completely honest, I think John Cena right now is a lot more interesting than CM Punk is, because I feel like CM Punk is just rolling on autopilot.
We said it, folks.
And we would like to also have an opponent for Punk that could hold their own.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too. I'm not going to 100% blame CM Punk. I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler. I don't like the guy, but it's not like he's a bad wrestler. He doesn't have anybody that's close to his level. The Miz is a very good wrestler, but he's not a top heel. He's like a Jericho. I wouldn't say mid-carder for life and then transitional world champion, but he's not a top heel. Del Rio could have been champ, but he should have won at WrestleMania. Another guy who should have been at the top of the list, Sheamus would have been a great top heel, but, they jobbed him out, moved him to SmackDown, turned him face. It's working nice for him, but, they just don't have anybody.
The thing is, it's a multi-layered problem, but I think a lot of it rests in CM Punk and just basically how he behaves with his opponents. Because if I look at a situation like, if you compare what's going on with CM Punk right now, well, hell, his biggest opponent is John Laurinaitis, and that's like taking candy from a baby. It's not really challenging at all to say something bad about John Laurinaitis for cheap laughs and to make the audience laugh at you, because hell, I could call up my 7-year-old nephew right now and show him a clip of John Laurinaitis, and I'm pretty sure he could say some funny shit about him too. But my whole point is, that's not challenging. What does it take for John Laurinaitis to be your biggest opponent? Like, what does that say about you, that this guy is the biggest threat? And also, what does it say about everybody else in WWE?
Well, I can already hear the keyboard warriors typing. I have supersonic hearing. I have supersonic hearing, and I can tell right now what they're about to type. But oh, J-Dub, you guys are so stupid. Austin's biggest opponent was Mr. McMahon. No, dummy. His biggest opponents were Triple H, The Rock. Vince McMahon was only a transitional heel. He could not fight.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. I have to stop you there, because the thing is, I know Vince McMahon, and John Laurinaitis is no Vince McMahon. John Laurinaitis could not hold Vince McMahon's jockstrap.
I'm telling you, Vince McMahon was an awesome heel, but he could not have been the main heel. He was only like transitioning people. Like when they didn't have too many heels. Like the last pay-per-view after WrestleMania when Austin first won the title, I believe, was Dude Love. Dude freaking Love. They're in the same position they were a couple of years back. The only problem is they don't have lightning in a bottle like before with The Rock. Nowadays, if somebody's about to come up, push him, pull him back. We saw that with Drew McIntyre, Sheamus. Push him, pull him back. We saw that with John Morrison. Push him. We pull him back. They don't have anybody right now. It's not like the Attitude Era where we could build somebody like, boom, this guy is really good. Not like that anymore.
To be completely honest, Stone Cold's biggest opponent was Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
he
but
couldn't fight him all
the
the
thing
time.
is, Vince McMahon could hold his own. I don't think that there's any comparison whatsoever between John Laurinaitis and Vince McMahon. Like, if this is WWE's new age version of Austin versus
Lord
McMahon,
have mercy.
yes, exactly. Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy.
On the CM Punk situation, just to bring it full circle, I do think CM Punk is highly talented, but I think that just right now, he's not living up to his potential. And David, I remember what it was you said before the show. You said that people are liking CM Punk simply because he's not John Cena.
Yes.
That's it. Because I feel like a lot of people, they're just so tired of John Cena. Right now, a lot of people just dislike John Cena and the fact that he was at that top spot in WWE for so long. They finally see somebody right now that has the potential to dethrone him, and they're like, you know what, CM Punk is, maybe he's not exactly as good as what he says, or maybe he's a little bit more hype than actual substance, but I'm still going to support him at all costs because I want him there, and instead of John Cena. Like a CM Punk at 50% capacity is better than a John Cena at 100. So I think that's basically what situation we're in right now.
That, and coupled with the fact that he's probably practicing witchcraft, putting people under spells that actually like him, there's really no reason to want to attack a person for not liking CM Punk, folks.
Yeah, he needs to. If he's casting spells on people, he needs to back off. Because I remember a few years ago when I was on the Punk bandwagon, and I had some leg room. Now it's like I'm pushed up against the damn wall and I can't move.
There's no reason for like everyone in the building. Because when you look at CM Punk, I know I'm taking a dump on Punk, but this is my gimmick, folks. When you look at CM Punk, he looks like the last person that delivered my pizza, okay? He does not look like the WWE Champion. Hell, he was denied access into Madison Square Garden yesterday. And when the other security guard told the guy, that's CM Punk, let him in, he's the WWE Champion, the guy was like, CM who? These people don't know who the hell he is. You only like him because he's not John Cena. At this point, you could put Kofi Kingston in CM Punk's position and people would go nuts for him. I think people hate John Cena so much they want to see him future endeavored. And that is not going to happen, nor should it happen. It shouldn't even be considered. That man is a draw, like it or not, and it's been proven in ratings. Ratings are very important, like it or not. People need to stop making excuses for this man. CM Punk is not as big as a draw as you thought he is. I don't like him. Hell, a lot of people don't like him either because it's being proven in the ratings. A lot of people saying, oh, he's bringing in money with the merchandise, though. You're just a hater. TV licensing makes them a lot of money. It actually makes them the most money. Like I said before, it's even in the intro of the show.
Whoa. Pay-per-view and house show revenue makes them the most money.
TV licensing, brother. Publicly traded company, man. Look it up. TV licensing is very...
That means the pay-per-view buys suck.
Well, hold on. I just want to jump in here really quickly and let everybody know that's listening right now. You can check out all of these stories, everything that we're discussing right now on PWFempire.com. There's a story up on CM Punk being denied access to Madison Square Garden yesterday before a WWE house show, so you can check that out. Also, the big point here, the thing about the ratings, because there was a story out...
Anytime he touches the belt, it drops.
There was a story out about last week's episode of Monday Night Raw. We had that absolutely huge main event. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Zack Ryder, they were teaming up to face The Miz, Alberto Del Rio, and Dolph Ziggler. Well, the story is, according to the ratings, that was the lowest rated main event of 2011 and possibly the lowest rated Raw main event in the last 15 years. Now, my whole thing is, when I read that story, and of course, you guys know, I'm a big WWE fan. Hell, I'm hosting a show right now, spending my time discussing WWE. But when I read that story, I couldn't help but laugh because I'm thinking to myself, after all of this buildup, after, all of this hype surrounding these three figures, they're finally all champions at the same time in WWE, while people were calling for them to be pushed and calling for them to, hold titles in WWE. They finally have these titles, and the ratings come back. Worst ratings in nearly 15 years. Well, like, what comes in your head when you guys see those ratings?
I would panic. These guys have been booked, with the exception of Daniel Bryan. I mean, he was a glorified jobber. And I don't even know if he was glorified because he wasn't even on the show sometimes. But Zack Ryder and CM Punk have been booked as two of the top faces in the company. This is absolutely atrocious. You should panic. TV ratings are very important. I'm not saying they need to defend the WWE Championship for free every single week, but this is absolutely ridiculous. It happens whenever Punk touches the belt. You have to look at these numbers, folks. Nielsen is not a particularly perfect way of generating how many people watch the show, but it does not lie. This happens every week. Ratings have been slipping even before Monday Night Football came on. Punk has been booked even better than Randy Orton and John Cena. John Cena wasn't even on the last pay-per-view. It has nothing to do with Punk's booking. It has to do with his character, and it has to do with the fact that not as many people like him as we thought initially.
Yeah, I kind of took I took my Punk T-shirt that I got for Christmas, closed up the drawer, went downstairs, grabbed that Punk coffee mug I got for Christmas, put that in the cabinet, and shut the cabinet, turned around, and looked up at the sky and say, "Fuck my life."
So do you guys think that it's over for CM Punk, judging by these ratings, or if WWE was to pull away from CM Punk, would this be a little too early? Because a lot of people out there are saying that. Like, I posted the message on Facebook, and I kid you not, within seconds, the first post that I get in response to that, it's not CM Punk's fault. But I mean, like, if you have all of that hype and all of that build up surrounding guys like CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Zack Ryder, and for the ratings to staying stagnant, that's one thing. But for the ratings to actually be the worst in like 15 years, that's a big problem. I'm not putting it all on CM Punk, not putting it all on those three guys, but there is an issue there, and I think it needs to be looked at. That's all I'm saying on this situation. He
doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. He's a bum, and I don't like him.
Let's be fair, though. There are 6 people in the damn match. And
two of those people CM Punk treated like fucking scrubs at TLC. This goes back to the whole thing where his biggest opponent, his biggest feud in WWE right now is John Laurinaitis. About wrestling, it's about telling a story. For you to look good, and David has said this many, many times, you have to make your opponent look good, because at the end of the day, that makes you look good also. When CM Punk is about to defend his WWE Championship in a TLC match, and when the interviewer asks him about the match where he's putting that WWE Championship on the line, that championship, that title that he covets so highly, and he says, you know what? Fuck the Miz and Alberto Del Rio. They're nobodies. They're no threat to me. What I want to do is talk about John Laurinaitis and my Slammy. Where is my Slammy? So at TLC, when you're about to put your WWE Championship on the line, the number one thing on your mind is the fucking Slammy. That makes your opponents look bad. So if people can say, oh, well, it's not CM Punk, it's the heels that he was going up against, then that all roots back to CM Punk. He shares some responsibility in that also.
I would say it's at least 50% Punk's fault, but I mean, there are 5 other guys there. And one of them is Dolph Ziggler, too, who's supposed to be the guy who's moving up. Other 2 are your 2 biggest heels on Raw, and the other one's your world champion, and then this other one's the guy who's supposed to have this huge following. I mean, all these guys have at least a solid part in why this didn't do good.
I mean, I'm just very disappointed with this this Punk angle. It's just, ugh.
Time to drop the belt. I think
it is.
We need to hit the reset button. We need to get a draft. We want to draft tomorrow. Like, right now. Punk needs to go to SmackDown. He needs to work with Michael Hayes, who's a wrestler who knows how to book wrestling, not these Hollywood guys on Raw. And he needs to work where he can work best, because this is not working. And I think we need to hit the reset button on Punk's character.
Brother.
We need to hit the reset button on his character, send him back to where it's more of a wrestler's show, send him to where guys are really over. I mean, I was going to say send Randy Orton to Raw, but, we might have a problem with this. But we need to change things up a little bit. And I think that Punk going to SmackDown is going to probably be something that needs to happen.
At this point, I think that CM Punk wants to change the company so badly. And by change, I mean he wants the product to revolve by himself. And, don't get me wrong, having an ego, it's necessary if you want to be successful in wrestling. But at this point, he doesn't care. He doesn't mention anything about it, It's like all of his buddies are champion. It's all right, Doesn't matter if the ratings have been down the toilet for the first time in the past 15 years. People don't even know he's the champion of the company. Professional wrestling is absolutely irrelevant and mainstream. It doesn't matter. My buddies are champion. We're the future. If you don't like us, you'll get left behind. Well, I want to be left behind.
Well, we're going to leave behind this topic of discussion, and I just want to say one thing. I'm not saying all of these things, and I would say that at least Charlie, he's surely not saying these things to hate on CM Punk. David, you may be on the outside of that, but I'm not saying these things.
He needs to make me my coffee.
I'm not saying these things to hate on CM Punk. I actually have his best interests at heart, and I really want to send a message out there to the Punk fans. If you believe that the best thing that CM Punk could be doing right now in WWE is feuding with John Laurinaitis, then that's a problem. Pro Wrestling Talk Radio, the show where wrestling fans rate and debate the hottest topics in the world of wrestling and are respectful.
If Mark Henry lost that belt, I would have been pissed, especially this jobber who's randomly carrying around this blue briefcase.
Whoa. Oh my God.
And courteous men.
Why not have Undertaker versus Kane with the mask on? Come on.
No!
Yes. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, absolutely not. How many times do I have to put this in your head? No, bad.
Yeah, you keep bringing it up. No, absolutely not.
I mean, buried alive.
It would suck.
So make sure you tune into Pro Wrestling Talk Radio, live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern on PWFempire.com for some good, wholesome fun.
This is like Kane's, what, 4th or 5th return?
But it had the mask in it. It gives him powers.
Who gives a...